are at Bosch Experience Center in Bengaluru, a company that has a legacy of over 100 years in India. To talk about what the company is doing in the areas of mobility and beyond, we are joined by Mr. Guruprasad Mudlapur, who is the president of Bosch Group in India and also the managing director of Bosch India Limited. Hello, sir.
Thank you, Shruti. Hello.
So, quickly, first to begin with, I'd like to start with how Bosch India is planning to utilize this innovative experience center, both for its global and local needs.
Okay. So, this is what we call the Bosch India Experience Center. It's a pretty unique concept locally. This is the only one in India, which showcases sort of the Bosch journey from when we started in India, little more than 100 years now till today. So, all the progress we made in terms of expansions, in terms of our technology which you see all around us, in terms of how we interface with our OEMs and partners, and it's a great platform for new employees to come and learn. So, there is a lot of coming together of Bosch in India happening at this experience center. So, what this does is starting with new employees who come in, they take a walk, try and understand what's happening at Bosch, what's happened all over the years. We also look at bringing our customers here. They experience the Bosch legacy, what's happened over many years, and the new technologies that are coming all the time into the Indian auto sector or the non-mobility sector. So, we also have things which we showcase on our home appliances, our power tools, and the whole range. So, there it's an experience center where the customers also come and take a look at what's happening. And of course, this is a showcase place where we try and bring a lot of things together for everyone locally. So, this center has had a lot of value for us. This is not so much something we do for the external world, external outside of India, but this is largely something we do for Bosch in India.
Mm-hmm. And so, dialing back to what you have mentioned about some remarkable work that Bosch is doing in the areas of conventional hydrogen as well as on the electrification side. So, just want to understand that hydrogen is still a quite a new segment for Indian market.
True.
How do you see the conversion of Indian automotive industry towards hydrogen, and in which segment you see the first step the industry is taking?
Yeah. So, Shruti, we should look at hydrogen in the context of how we can bring in even higher levels of clean fuel into our mobility sector as we move forward, and how we can gain a lot more energy independence in India, because this is a fuel which can be totally locally produced. So, hydrogen is a byproduct of electrolysis of water. So, it's very easy to synthesize hydrogen and then use that as a fuel in vehicles. So, that's the motivation for hydrogen. Energy independence is key for us as a nation, and hydrogen plays a key role there. So, the government of India has put a lot of focus on this. The National Hydrogen Energy Mission is sort of coordinating action around hydrogen. And over the last couple of years, a lot of OEMs, a lot of ecosystem players who will generate and distribute hydrogen, and of course, players like us who provide technology into the mobility world have come together to make things happen. We believe hydrogen as an energy source into the mobility world will primarily be in heavy commercial vehicles and long haul trucks, where it suits quite well and also provides an excellent TCO advantage compared to diesel today, and that should be a very good way to bring in hydrogen into these sectors. We believe that over the next few years the technology will mature. We already have pilots running in our campus. Hydrogen truck on a BS4 engine is currently running. We have several pilots running with our OEM partners who are also experimenting and testing it out today. And we believe we will have BS6 hydrogen truck also coming out as a pilot next year. So the technology is in a good maturity phase, and we believe pilots will start on a larger scale as we move forward. So by 2030, we expect about between 10 to 15% of the vehicle park to be running on hydrogen on the heavy commercial vehicle segment. Of course, there is a good possibility that it can come into other categories of vehicles as well, but that's something we need to wait and watch based on how the battery electric vehicles come in to the light commercial vehicles or other categories, and how much hydrogen can come in, and how stable the nationwide distribution infrastructure comes up. So we'll have to wait and watch, but this is our pretty conservative guess that these should be the numbers.
So 10 to 15% is what we are looking domestically?
Yes, domestically. I'm quoting only India numbers.
Okay.
Yeah.
And also if you can highlight that for the conversion of to 10 to 15%, what sort of ecosystem framework do we need so that India will be able to achieve that mark by the end of this decade?
Yeah, so mobility, I mean, there is plenty of hydrogen, grey hydrogen largely produced already in India. And a lot of it is for different applications, be it fertilizers, ammonia, or steel, or in petrochemical refining and so on. But into mobility is almost non-existent as of today. And the consumption of hydrogen in the mobility space, even in 2030, is not going to be a significant chunk in terms of how much hydrogen India will produce. So the ecosystem as such is going to be brand new in that sense. We will have hydrogen generation coming up through electrolysis. So a lot of hydrogen will get generated there. The generation has to also be green to be called a green energy transformation into mobility. So renewable energy has to come in, either solar, wind, or other forms of renewable energy have to power the electrolysis process to generate hydrogen. And of course, dispensing hydrogen either in select corridors or nationwide has to come up as well. And that we believe will happen in phases. It's possible, most likely, that we will have distribution infrastructure coming up in specific corridors which are high traffic, long haul corridors. That's probably easier to manage that way, and then extending on a wider scale nationwide. But this is something that will evolve as we move forward based on how the ecosystem players invest and where they feel more comfortable to start.
And also on the investment side, last time the major chunk invested by Bosch is about 2,000 crore last time. And now that we have expanded our footprints in the areas of electrification and hydrogen, apart from the conventional vehicles that we are serving at present. So what kind of fresh capex or investments we have planned specifically for Indian market for the near to mid term?
Okay. So Bosch invests quite a lot into R&D, and that is an annual thing we do, and specifically with regard to new technology, we are always a couple of years ahead. In fact, the first real hydrogen infrastructure for testing and development came up within Bosch in Bangalore. We've also offered it to several partners and OEMs who come and test their vehicles and engines in our facility. So there is considerable investment that has happened here on hydrogen. We will, of course, increase this as we move forward, including in component development areas. So we have to develop and mature a lot of components which will get into the vehicles, and that investment will continue. I would say something in the region of 400 to 500 crore would be the investment in new technology areas in the coming couple of years to take this forward.
Can we say by 2027, sir?
Yes,
By
certainly. Yeah. And there will of course be manufacturing investment to complement that, and that depends on how quickly we want to localize, when do we see volumes good enough to localize, and or if we should invest in advance and localize and then we do it. Bosch has always believed in doing local for local, and we invest for the local markets with manufacturing investments, and we continue to do that all the time.
Bosch is also very bullish on enhancing its content per vehicle in the premium vehicle segment, sir. And if you can throw some light on how are we working on localizing the products and technologies in India. Because if we look at the current juncture, there is a lot of focus of in-house capabilities that every auto parts maker is where they are focusing on. So just wanted to understand that what is our current level of localization and how are we planning to improve it by the end of this decade?
Okay. So Bosch has, like I said, decades of experience and has committed to localize everything we do, and that has been one of our strength. In fact, manufacturing and high quality, high volume manufacturing is a core strength of Bosch, and this we do exceedingly well, and towards that we make considerable investments as a company. And in the area of hydrogen or in the general area of new technology or new energy investments, we will continue to do that. In terms of localization, the content normally is quite small, maybe 30% or so when we start off a new technology wave. Like for example, BS6 starts off with a very low level of localization because there are capacities built elsewhere which are already producing high volumes, and we just get that into India. But as the technology matures and the volumes start to increase, we increase also our localization content. BS4 products were localized to a very high extent, over 70-75%, if I can give a number like that. And we do that with every new technology. So currently, on an average, we are probably around 50% localization with everything put together. There are areas where we've exceeded 85-90% localization. There are areas where which are new technologies which are much lower, and they continuously increase as the technology adoption increases. We increase our maturity in localization. So that's been the trend, and that's our strength, and we continue to do that all the time.
If you can highlight the areas where we have achieved almost 80-90% of localization.
BS4 is an area where we've got very high levels of localization. We have our other areas like chassis systems where we have very high levels of localization. In fact, also our auto electronics has seen high levels of localization, barring components like semiconductors which continue to be imported. We have very high levels of localization there as well. So wherever, whatever we produce, I think our core aim is to localize to the highest extent as the technology matures and as the volumes come in. So we start small maybe initially, but very rapidly we do that. And of course, it's always economical to do it that way, not just for us, also for our OEMs. And we always believe in having manufacturing as a strong attribute of our success locally.
So any sub-segments, where do you see the same level of localization catching up within the next like 3-4 years?
BS6 would be an area where we will continue to increase all our localization, and all components we will continue to increase in BS6.
All right. Thank you so much, sir,
Thank
for
you.
talking
Thank
to
you.
Autocar Professional.
Thank you, Shruti.